one, and live. We are live. Jeremy Knight with the Knight Group, your favorite Austin realtor. We are super excited to have this live event today. We have a special, fantastic guest. His name is Tim Macy. He is out of San Antonio. This guy has a great track record in the San Antonio area, and I know you're going to love him. He's got a lot of great insights on San Antonio. So on San Antonio, in something like that, you'll get it. So we'll get to him in just a second. Don't forget, please drop in your comments. We will start answering all those questions that you have. So definitely get those in. So in this event, I'm going to bring Tim on in a second, but we are going to hammer each other on what's better, San Antonio versus Austin. I got a good list of things that we're going to go through. Now, this is a question I get asked all the time. Clients will reach out and they'll say, hey, you know, I'm thinking about San Antonio. I'm thinking about Austin. Give me an idea about San Antonio. And I'm like, I don't live in San Antonio, but I can give you some good info, I guess. And then I always send them to Tim if they have questions. So with that being said, let's bring on Tim Macy from Rock House Realty in San Antonio. How's the weather in San Antonio?
It's good. It's better than Austin's.
Yeah, here it's more humid. It's
yeah.
a little sticky, not as nice.
Well, Jeremy, first, I'd like to thank you for having me on here. Very excited to debate this issue. And I really appreciate you pulling the very typical Democrat Austin move by telling me you were going to send me a bunch of questions and let me prepare for this thing and then not send me any questions and just try to rig the whole debate. It's very Austin Democrat of you.
Yes, you're welcome. That's what I do. I've rigged this debate today. So Tim, let's just start diving in. I will have some people asking questions on here shortly. Our viewer count's a little low, which is concerning. Usually we got more people on here, but that's all right. We're going to start jamming. All right, Tim. So you live in the city of San Antonio, right? There's a river there. Isn't that right?
Yeah. So we got the Riverwalk downtown, but then we also have a really nice kind of growing downtown area that's like off the Riverwalk. So the Riverwalk's kind of the touristy spot, and we've got a nice little booming area all around it.
Okay, so all right, so let's ask some serious questions here. First of all, if we're going to compare San Antonio and we're going to compare Austin, let's talk about what's important, and that is the food. Now, everyone talks about how amazing the food is in Austin. I've been to San Antonio, and meh. Sell the crowd on San Antonio food.
Yeah, for sure. Look, I think if you're looking for $8 toast, I think Austin's probably a great market for you. I think you could probably find some really good toast in Austin with like basil on it and stuff. If you're looking for like
avocado toast.
Yeah. If you're looking for good, the basil toast is coming. Trust me, the hippies they're bringing it. Good authentic food is in San Antonio. Good, like, or affordable hole in the wall spots are in San Antonio. We got some really, you know, the downtown stuff's the downtown stuff. We have some like good high end stuff, but what I love are the little family owned spots that are all over town.
Yeah. Okay. So look, I do have to admit, I think some of the taco places in San Antonio are better, but when it comes to barbecue,
record, play that back. Play that back.
I said some of them are good. I didn't say they were better than Austin.
That's right. Okay.
I didn't say they were better. All right.
Continue on, my friend.
So I will say some of the spots have really great tacos. But I mean, come on, the barbecue in Austin is way better than when has San Antonio ever been on any list for anything when it comes to barbecue?
I'm sorry. New York Pizza said I don't think that's basil. That was pretty funny, and I love New York pizza. So I'm glad you're here, man. I'm glad you're here. No, look, you know, I'm giving you a hard time. There are some really good restaurants in Austin. In barbecue, I will agree. I will take the loss on barbecue. I think San Antonio has some good barbecue. There's a spot on the west side that's a hole in the wall spot that I really like. It's kind of hidden over there in the west side. And then Rudy's, but like Rudy's is okay. Everywhere. I'm not like a huge.
Yeah, Rudy's is everywhere.
Yeah. So no, I'll give you that. As long as we have better Mexican food and just better food overall, I'll give you barbecue.
Okay. All right. You can keep the tacos. I'll keep the barbecue. We can come visit each other and
Now,
see.
I can tell you what, as a guy from the Northeast, nobody has good pizza. All right. New York just takes the pizza.
Yeah. I don't know if you watched the One Bite with Dave Portnoy, but he came in and he rated some places in San Antonio. They got demolished. He rated Home Slice in Austin, which Home Slice has always been like the best place. I'm
Yeah.
an East Side Pies guy. In fact, my neighbor owns East Side Pies, so literally I'm obligated to say that. Not contractually, but obligated to say that. Home Slice is good for sure, but Dave Portnoy killed it, so that's not good. All right, so let's jump into the next topic here. Things to do. Now, we all know Austin's better in this category, so go ahead, give us your best shot.
Well, no. This is not how this night is gonna go, Jeremy. All right. You don't get to say Austin's better. Tim, what are your thoughts? All right. Give us your reason. Why is Austin better?
Oh, okay. Well, number one, we're the capital. So, I mean, everything important in Texas happens in the capital. So there you
Yeah,
go.
great. People love government. You're right. Yeah.
We have an amazing rodeo that happens, once a
So
year.
do we.
We have the F1 track, so we have the MotoGP, we have F1. Now we're supposed to be getting. See one of my favorites right here.
Yeah.
Zanzak. Hello.
LOL at you trying to say you have better stuff to do. Thank you. Thank you
No,
for
no, no.
that.
I'm not done. I'm not done.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of great hill country things to do.
Yoga.
Walking. Oh, dude, the yoga at
Mhm.
Zilker Park is no joke.
Yeah,
So
I'll give it to you. You can take yoga. Austin has the best yoga for sure.
I mean, but if you ever go out to South Congress and get a Joe's coffee and hang out, I mean, come on, like that downtown area, that stretch on SoCo is probably way more fun than that little river thing you have, right?
Yeah, look, I'm not a big fan of the Riverwalk. I mean, like once a year we'll go down and like do the boat around the Christmas lights, right? Because
Yeah,
look, the Riverwalk is pretty cool. Like when you look at the fact that they have this river with these giant trees right in the middle of the city, and when you're walking around the city, you don't even know it's there. Like it's pretty cool, but ultimately the restaurants, in my opinion, aren't as great down there. They're just higher priced because it's on the Riverwalk. So we'll do the Christmas lights around, you know, we'll do that once a year. Maybe go down there once more, but mainly for us, one, we've got a big sprawling city. Like Austin is like this, right? So the stuff to do is
sure.
like right in the middle. We've got stuff to do all over the city. Like we've got trails that connect a bunch of stuff. We've got SeaWorld, right? Which is Blackfish, whatever. And we've got we got Six Flags. You can there's more stuff in a larger area here, so you don't have to go down to yuppie Austin. There's a lot of stuff to do in the entire area. So like we always say, we're a big city. We're the seventh largest city in the country. We're actually a bigger city than Austin population wise, but we're much bigger geographically. So we're a bigger city, but we have a small town feel. Where Austin, I feel like, if you want how about this? In Texas, a man wears a cowboy hat. In Austin, a man wears a woman's hat.
Well,
One of those flat brimmed things.
hey,
You know?
look, here's the thing about those flat brim hats, though. They look super cool. So don't give me, I
I mean,
mean,
listen, I wore one as a joke.
I'm going to
You know?
say there is a photo of you
Yeah,
in one of those hats with a pumpkin spice latte. So I don't know what you're talking about.
it's pretty much making fun of Austin people when I wore that hat. Yeah.
Nah, I mean, you looked pretty serious about your pumpkin spice latte. So, all right. So, look, maybe somebody doesn't want to live in it. Like, Austin is condensed and hard to get around. I can only imagine trying to get around San Antonio with all those freeways and all your big trucks. I mean, Austin's got, smaller cars. We have, more energy efficient cars in San Antonio. So, I mean, if you look at those things, we definitely win in that category. Plus, I don't know if you heard of this company. It's Tesla is bringing their facility here, which actually brings me into our next topic.
For sure, Jeremy. I think you're bringing up a great point, right? Like, say you're in California and
Okay.
there's some
Don't
stuff
compare
going
Austin
on
to
in
California.
California and you don't love it,
Don't do it. Don't do it.
and you want to move to the California version of Texas, for sure, more eco
No.
cars, all that other stuff. But if you want big trucks, cowboy hats, like real life Texas, you move to San Antonio.
All right. For the listeners here that don't get the comedy here, Tim and I both are not true lived our whole lives
Yeah, I know.
Texans. So
From Connecticut.
so please, he's from Connecticut. So don't take that we're being super Texas here. So there is some.
And the other thing is, Austin's a great city. I'm just giving you a hard time for the sake of the video.
This is a battle. So we're battling here. Okay. So we'll take that for what it is. And so far, I'm winning. So that brings me to another good point, though, is that Austin right now, I looked at the numbers before because I want to be prepared for this next part. Austin is down to 5.5% unemployment rate, which if you look at a lot of the cities throughout the United States, they're still high, unfortunately, and hopefully those will come down. But Austin is number 5 in recession-resistant cities, and that is because we have a very diverse job base. We have a lot of.
But who said it was number 5? The Journal of Austin?
No, it's Forbes. And Forbes actually had 3 Dallas cities ahead of us. So that's a whole story for something else. But so our economy, I mean, is it actually stronger and better than San Antonio?
Look, one, like I said, back to the Democrat boy of not giving me time to prepare and just dropping these things that you prepared for, obviously, citing your statistics and all that. All right. Go Biden, apparently.
No, that's not
I'll
what
do
we're saying.
my best to be unprepared for this debate, like my man Donnie, and just wing it. But no,
we're in the weeds. Look, we're in the weeds.
I think San Antonio is has a unique economy because we have so much military here, right? We've got 5 military bases. I mean, it's hard to keep track because they combine them all and they're all joint base San Antonio, but there's an Army base, Air Force pilot training, Air Force training, pre-deployment stuff in Camp Bullis. Like there's so much military presence here that like in 2012, 13 or so, when I was in the Air Force, there was a lot of downsizing going on and bases were getting condensed and people were losing jobs. But when consolidation happens military-wise, it's going to happen and get consolidated to a place like San Antonio, not away from. And so I think we have a DOD federal employment here that's not going to go away, right? And there are a lot of federal security, like communication security. The NSA may or may not have a giant building here that they don't talk about, but it's on Google Maps, so whatever. Like we've got a lot of that stuff going here, which I think really keeps us stable in a downturn. And then, also we've got a lot of medical industry here. But the other thing that we have that I like is, well, one, as far as the oil stuff goes, I think you guys have the same thing. Like you're such a close shot away from a lot of oil companies that people can live in the suburbs of Austin and still, have like oil field jobs and whatnot. But what I like is the potential tech companies, right? Because Austin's too expensive. And if I'm a tech startup, Austin is becoming a great place. Tesla's coming, Apple's here, right? Like if you're starting a tech company, it's like Austin's a great place to go. But also if you're starting a tech company, you probably don't have that much money. And then you start looking at New Braunfels, San Marcos, and some of these suburbs of Austin to, maybe drop your tech company. So we have a couple incubators and stuff like that are starting in San Antonio. I guess they've been around for a couple of years now, but I'm interested to see that take off because I think San Antonio is well positioned to have that part of our industries grow. Okay.
Well, Austin's already here. We're already on the map.
Yeah.
So there's that. Now, what's great, okay, so if you are in the middle of deciding whether you're going to be, San Antonio or Austin, you brought up a good point, and it's going to lead us really into our next segment. There are some great, like kind of, I guess, what you call leapfrog cities that kind of are in between the two. So you got like closer to San Antonio, you have Selma, you have New Braunfels, San Marcos, Kyle, Buda, and then you hit Austin. So the good thing about San Antonio and Austin is, number one, they're not Houston.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. So we both have
go to
that.
Houston unless you have to.
We already
Unless you
went in
got
there.
some big job offer in Houston, just take our word for it.
Don't go there.
Yeah.
And then Dallas, I mean, if you wanted to live in LA, you could live in Dallas. So there's that. So
I don't mind Dallas.
Which has better hill country access and views? Oh,
San Antonio.
No way. Dude, we have, so from Austin, you can get quicker to Bandera. You can get closer to Fredericksburg. Plus, in our hill country,
whoa! Check the map. Who's quicker to Fredericksburg?
No, Austin. I looked at it.
No. Listen, that's why San Antonio, Martin. That's why San Antonio wins, because we're closer to Fredericksburg, and Fredericksburg is Texas Hill Country.
In and around the Austin area, Dripping Springs area, we have Deep Eddy vodka. We have Dripping Springs vodka. We have Texas. My dog's over here eating. Jeez. Twisted X Brewery. We have other breweries. We have Treaty Oak Distillery. So we have so much of that fun. And then you can go out. So we have so much great hill country in and around the Austin area. Plus you have Lake Travis. You have Lady Bird Lake in Austin. You have Lake Austin. Then you go all the way up to, so we had just Martin, Austin wins. Sorry.
Yeah, look, I got to say, I've driven around, right? Like we drove up to New Mexico and whatnot. So, I've kind of driven a lot of these hill country areas. And I will agree that all the places that you just said are awesome, right? Like all good. I love it. But I think Fredericksburg is the number one for hill country, right? Like there's you think hill country, you think Fredericksburg, and I think we're closer. That's why when he says access, we win. I don't know. Maybe you win on views, I guess.
Oh, we have way better views.
But the other sleeper, one of my favorite suburbs of any of the major cities, is Bernie. Bernie's an amazing little suburb. And I see you cringing because it's tough to beat, man. It's such an awesome little spot. Come on, you gotta hold on. Let me ask you this question. You get to ask all the questions. Where is there a Black Rifle Coffee near Austin?
We have that Starbucks down off of so we have that Starbucks. Hey, we do have a really cool coffee place that's now a chain, Summer Moon Coffee. So if you're in Austin, Summer Moon Coffee is probably better than Black Rifle Coffee. But that's
a great Austin answer. I'm really glad you went that direction because you're just proving the point.
Look, we have way better coffee. Like if you want to argue coffee, I mean, we have the better. Okay, so we have the better coffee places that have tacos as well. So if we want to get back to the food and coffee, we can get back there and we'll just dominate you again.
I just want to know if there's a Black Rifle Coffee in the Austin area.
Not at the moment.
Okay.
You can. Yeah, that doesn't mean much, though. Who has better tacos? Who has better barbecue? Us, Black Rifle Coffee. Who cares?
You admitted that you don't have better tacos. You can rewind this thing and play the beginning.
I just said you have better tacos. I said it twice.
I know you said we have better tacos.
I do.
You can say you have better coffee. I don't really care because you have better coffee, but we have the best coffee shop.
We have better distilleries.
Do any of your coffee shops have a gun store attached to them?
Well, that's a very Texas thing to ask.
The answer's no. It's no.
Well,
the word you're looking for is no.
Yeah, but does anybody really need to get caffeinated and buy a rifle at the same time? And those are two things that maybe shouldn't go together. I don't know that, and I guess if you're going to go hunting, Miller Lite and rifles, but that's different. That's a Friday night thing.
No, I think that's
so let's get back on track. All right. All right, here we go. So let's talk about something that most of these people want to hear about. So we've talked a little bit about economy and jobs. Obviously, Austin has a better economy, $1 billion in venture capital every year. Oh, how'd you like that nugget? See, I came prepared. I'm sorry that you're not prepared down there in San Antonio for this, but housing market. Austin the housing market moves so quickly here. It is actually hard to find a home. Can you still find a home in San Antonio? What's the housing market look like there?
I think it's a matter of price point. So I think our price point at which it's still fairly easy to find a good home is a little bit lower than Austin's. But I will say the same thing in Austin is the same thing in the gray areas of San Antonio. It's a quick moving market. So, if we list a property that's a great property in that like 200, 250 range, it's going pretty quick. I would say the price point where it's really where so I'm sure you have this too. There's like these price marks, right? Where, here anything under 200 is a bloodbath if it's decent, and most of them aren't decent, right? And the thing is, we have a lot of people that call us and they're like, hey, I'm moving to San Antonio and, I want to spend 175,000 on a house and I want a great little 3-2. And you're like, man, that's great. And you probably could have 3 years ago, but that's changed. And so that's where I think like we still have, it's not super cheap down here by any means, but I think our price point to get into a good solid home is going to be a little bit less than you guys.
Yeah. So let's say I wanted to buy a nice 3-2 under 250. Is it available in San Antonio, or do you have to be in a suburb outside of San Antonio?
So yeah, I mean, yeah, and I think 250 is one of those price points where if you can afford to move up into the 275, like we have people that come in and they're like, hey, we want something from 250 to 300, right? Really want to be at 250, but we can go up to 300 if we need to. They almost always end up going to the high twos because that quality jumps. Because there's so many people looking for a house under 250 that, the quality's not as good. And then once you jump into that 275, 280, it's like, wow, it's definitely worth the extra, whatever it is, $200 a month for, that. When you ask about the city, we do end up putting people in a lot of houses outside of city limits for the lower tax rate. And so, we're looking at a house that's 250, right? You're looking at a house that's 250 inside the city limits. And you're like, similar monthly payment, I can go get something for 265 or 270 or something outside city limits. And so that's why we usually, we do put a lot of people just outside city limits. And unlike Austin, we don't have the crazy, horrible traffic. So it's like you can live outside city limits and just punch it straight down 151 and get to the base or downtown or wherever you're working.
Okay, so hi, Charles. Good to have you on the channel again. Thanks for commenting. Charles is moving to the great city of Georgetown. Talk about little nice communities. Yeah. Georgetown, nice community. Right,
Georgetown's an awesome spot.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I like Georgetown. It's grown on me drastically. I went and had dinner there and had some wine not too long ago. I thought, somebody gave me like a wine gift card for winning something.
Seems like a wine guy, Austin guy, wine guy. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah. I mean, I drink my coffee like this, so that gives you an indication. Anyway, so in Austin, I actually had this phone conversation with a client yesterday, the day before. Their cash up's about 275, and they wanted a newer home. And so we were talking about the realities of finding a new build home. Number one, in Austin, you cannot find any new build inventory. It is crazy. Is the new build inventory just deplete in San Antonio?
Yeah. I mean, we have a couple buyers right now that are looking for new, and I mean, there's literally no inventory. Like builders don't have inventory homes. They're just waiting for buyers to come in and build. Like they don't have any inventory.
All right. So we got stuck on this topic of new builds because we do a lot of new builds. Are your builders seeing huge price increases because of the lumber shortage as well?
I'm seeing, and again, I'm not like talking to the people that run the companies, but I can just tell you what I'm seeing. In my opinion, it seems like they're pulling back. Like I said, they don't have any inventory. I don't think that's because they're selling out. I think that's because they're pulling back on building because the prices are increasing and they're not really sure what to do, right? So I think, experienced builders are pulling back, not sure where the market's going with lumber price increases and what they're going to do. So like ours, we went out to one this past weekend, and they've got some slabs poured, and those are considered their inventory homes, right? Like
Wow.
if we want to make an offer on a slab, they'll build it, kind of thing. So they're pulling back big time. Well, because the thing is too, it's like if lumber prices going up are a temporary thing and they're going to go down, then they're losing a ton of money if they go start building right now, hoping that lumber prices are going to come down. So it's interesting. It's definitely not to like, plug us by any means, but it's definitely one of those times where the quality of your agent is going to determine a lot about the quality of your buying process, because there's just so much going on. And if you don't have a good feel on the pulse of what's going on in the market, you could get hosed. So it's definitely an interesting time.
Well, I mean, the great subscribers on my channel that watch these videos know that I'm not afraid to bring a good real estate agent onto the channel to talk about real estate. I just had one in my market last week where we talked a lot about investing in the Austin market. So, obviously, while we're giving each other a good ribbon here, Tim and I are great friends. So I like to, help promote. And actually, Tim has a very good YouTube channel. It's his name, Silly Realtor at something, right? It's just his name, Tim Macy Realtor. If you want to check out his YouTube channel, he's got a lot of good stuff with his daughter on there. So his daughter's adorable. His wife's amazing. So anyway, so let's get back to this debate. So
I got you. We got a question.
We do got a question. We're going to get to Chopo Show's question in here a second. I think I said that right. But I want to ask you this question. So in Austin right now, it is a challenge to find anything newer under 500K. Do you have inventory under 500K?
Yeah, we have people building brand new under 500K.
What about resale inventory? Is it multiple offers?
No. So 500K. Honestly, anything over 3, if you get over 300, inventory picks up and there's a lot more options, and you can get a nice home in that 3 to 500 range. That's a great price point to buy a home here, because you can, most of our activity is happening under 300, and so that's where it's tough and good things go fast and all that other fun stuff. But no, there's some great inventory from 3 to 500 down here.
I think that's the problem we're facing right now. Is it is a struggle in Austin. It's really, number one, we have very little inventory to begin with, and I think that's partly why our prices are doing a 14% increase per month. I'm curious to see what are we in now? October. I'm curious to see September's numbers. We actually had like 4 or 5 off-market property sales. So that's not going to help the Austin numbers. But the reality in Austin, and I literally had a past client who just bought off-market, text me that their friend, who he's a subscriber, they're working with another agent and they've already missed out on multiple properties. And he's like, hey, do you have anything off-market they can find? So, having an agent that can like find that off-market. Now, look, the National Association of Realtors kind of did a big number on how we can pre-market properties. So we only really have 1 day to pre-market a property, but
not down here.
See,
that's a great topic. I do want to get to Seguin, but we have a private listing network down here in San Antonio, so we can upload our stuff early. I've got a great network down here, and that goes back to, again, who you work with matters. Like, I know you do deals off market. I do deals off market. And if you're not working with somebody who's getting you access to more inventory, then
it's hard. Right now, like if you're looking under 500, even if you're looking up to like 650, you're going to see multiple offers. We had a client that got beat out up to 650 on like 3 different homes. And it was brutal because like, you're like, we're up to 650. Like we're away from that, under, like if you're looking at price brackets, we're away from that 500 price bracket. So we should be able to find stuff and not be in multiples. That wasn't there. So Austin's prices are definitely more of a challenge. All right, let's get to this. Let's get this. So
my man's got some fish in that profile pic.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
some that's some big tunas there.
oh, yeah. So I'm actually in, we have a beach condo in Sal Padre. It's rentable. If you would like to rent it, I can send you a link. So that's where we are. We have our little beach sign behind me. But so I like to go fish down in Sal Padre. So the good thing about San Antonio, we're going to get to this question. The good thing about San Antonio, it is an hour and a half faster to Port Aransas, and it's an hour and a half faster to Sal Padre. So there's that.
Yeah.
So, okay. Seguin, give me your thoughts on Seguin.
Yeah. So Seguin's probably too far from Austin, right? I mean, it's a ride from Austin. It's not a bad,
About an hour, a little over an
yeah,
hour. Yeah.
but it's a decent little small town commute type thing from Seguin to San Antonio. It's one of a lot of people move to, I'm sure they do to Austin too, and they move to San Antonio. They're looking for that like Texas country experience. They want to be on an acre, 2 acres. They want to wear a cowboy hat and be doing that stuff, right? And they want to be within reach of the major city. And so Seguin's a great city a great area for that. They've got a cute little downtown. That I would also look at La Vernia. La Vernia is another one that we like a lot. That's within reach of San Antonio. I'd say those are probably my two favorite San Antonio country-ish suburbs. And New Braunfels is one of my places that I would move to, right? Like I would go live in New Braunfels if life aligned that way. But that's more of, it's right off the highway. It's becoming a major town area. If you're looking for small town Texas in shot of the cities, for me, La Vernia and Seguin are probably two good options for San Antonio.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on New Braunfels. Dude, if I could sell real estate in Austin still and live in New Braunfels, I would. That's a beautiful city.
Yeah.
The culture there is phenomenal.
Yeah.
What's great is you have those little cities around it, like where do they have Worst Fest? Is it in New Braunfels or is it in Green?
You're talking about Green?
Yeah, Green.
So yeah.
Green is right next to New Braunfels. Green is awesome. They have Worst Fest there.
Dude.
I'm a huge fan of that area.
We've had a client that's like about as far north as we'll go is New Braunfels, and we put a client in Vintage Oaks up there, and they just have an awesome HOA. Houses are on like an acre or a little bit less, and then they've got a lazy river. They've got concerts in the neighborhood, during the spring and summer. Like it's on our list. We may end up there at some point.
Yeah. I agree. See, I mean, that's a good thing about the hill countries. You have
I need
a lot
place
of
to park the bus.
Oh, we'll get to your bus in a minute. Yeah, that's a good point. All right. So Stephen has a great question here. It says Austin looks like a renter's market. So this is a great question for both of us, actually.
Yeah.
So Austin looks like a renter's market at the moment. Would it be wiser to rent for a year and then buy, or should I buy now? Buy now is the answer to that question. Look, the reality is we don't know where the market's going to go. We don't have the crystal ball. I can tell you from experience, the way the market has gone, especially in the last 5 months, you wouldn't think that it'd be a good time to buy during, this whole pandemic. But the reality is prices in Austin have increased 10 to 14% every single month. Inventory's dropped. So if you're going to buy now, because I think we'll see some loosening of inventory near November. I've said this over and over and over again on my channel. But the reality is, because of our economy, because of everything we've talked about in this like battle, which obviously Austin's winning already. If you bought and held for a year and then had to sell it in a year, the reality is you're probably going to get your money out of it. You're going to get all the tax incentives out of having a home. I personally, and the thing with rental rates are jumping up too. I just don't think the statistics for rental rates are kind of catching up to what they really are, because it is hard, unless you're getting an apartment. It's hard to find like a house to rent under $2,300 a month. And that's like a little 3-2. It's not a big house. I mean, I have a rental property right now. It's 1,800 square feet and we're over that. So what do you think, Tim, as far as buying now or renting? What does that look like in San Antonio?
For sure. First off, Steven, I love your profile picture of a Half Dome there. Yosemite is one of my favorite places. Yeah. But no, look, I am pretty conservative, right? When it comes to like investing and what I think you should do in the market and all that stuff. So I'm not a risk guy, but I think there's more risk in not buying if you're capable than there
Great.
is in renting and trying to like time the market, right? And get in when it's low. I think that there's a very good chance we see a correction nationally in real estate. I would not be surprised if in 2021 we see a dip in home prices because of where they've gone in the last couple of years. But I can tell you, like, I'm from the Northeast. Jeremy's from California, right? Like, he doesn't like to
Don't
admit
tell
that.
people that.
But look, like all my friends, if the market crashes and the economy goes bad, they're coming to Texas. We have people all the time in California, they're coming to Texas, right? Like,
All
I
day.
think we are going to be insulated. And again, from a conservative point of view, I don't see buying Texas real estate being a bad buy. And if you can hold on to it,
Unless you're buying
it's going to
Houston.
pay off big in the future. And so the chance you save some money renting, I don't see it. Like, buy Texas real estate, hold on as long as you can, make a bunch of money.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen
Jeremy, I say that I bought my first house for $105,000 in 2013 or something. And then I fixed it up a little bit in my little KB home neighborhood, right? Which was not it's a starter home neighborhood. The thing shot up to like 150. I was like, there's no way this house is ever going to be worth more than 150. It's crazy. And now it's like 185, right? And so, like, I've been conservatively thinking that things were going to slow down. And now that I've been through enough transactions and I've studied the market enough, I feel like Texas real estate's a very good bet.
I agree. I did the same thing. 2013, purchased a property, sold it 4 years later, put 25 grand into it. Did well. Way faster. I mean, if you think about it, I bought a home in California at the bottom of the market in 2009, 2010. It was at the very bottom of the market. Sold it almost 4 years later. Made okay money on it. The money I made selling my first Texas house was like night and day difference. So I don't know that that's going to, is that going to change? Is that still possible? Yes. I I literally have had clients that have purchased a home 3 years ago, and now they're in their move up homes and they're making massive money on their 3-year move up. Right. And so,
so caveat to that,
yeah.
I will say Austin wins there.
Yeah.
San Antonio is a much steadier market. You're not going to see the crazy appreciation that you've seen in a lot of these markets in Austin. Right. And a lot of that comes from the fact that we're such a big, sprawling city. Like, when demand gets that much, like, we have tons more room to just keep building neighborhoods. And so, but we're steady, right? Like, because we're more affordable, right? Like, it's hard to see those prices going down. And you can get into a big conversation right now anyways, Steven, if you're into this stuff, right? Because I love this stuff. You can get into some deep conversations right now on whether or not the market is going to go down just because of inflation, right? Like, I worry right now, and we're getting into a financial discussion, but I worry a little bit right now about having too much cash, right? Because we're selling a lot of assets. And I need to put it back into real estate because, inflation wise, I think my cash in the bank may not do as well, where I think we're almost, the government printing money right now, I think is almost a real estate makes it a good hedge against that is the fact that, I just don't see real estate prices going down the way they have in the past because of some unique things that are happening right now in this market.
And if you're looking, Texas as a whole, when I look at my monthly numbers, I look, Austin Board of Realtors breaks it up between Texas wide, and Texas wide still, granted, maybe Austin's pushing those numbers, but Texas wide is still seeing a month-over-month increase. Texas wide. So, if you're buying in Houston, it's probably different. And that's, not to knock on Houston, but, Houston does have some issues as far as, flooding, hurricanes. So properties don't appreciate. Plus, they do have a ton of urban sprawl. Where that's the thing. Austin just, the thing with Austin is why prices go up so much quicker is because we are, more insulated just by land. All right, here's a good question. I have a good question. So far, I want to hear from you. Who's winning, Austin or San Antonio? Let's drop comments
Dude, it's
below.
your channel. They're going to be polite and not say anything. But if they don't say anything, that means I'm winning.
No, they like your haircut. You're wearing a shirt that says tacos. So, everybody loves tacos. That's the song. That's the song in our house. All right. So do folks commute daily from Austin to San Antonio or vice versa? That's actually a great question. I would say yes. I know quite a few people that live like South Austin that drive to San Antonio.
So one, I think this is a great question because this is your guy, right? Your dude that's on your channel, and he's already thinking like, maybe I should go to San Antonio instead, right? And commute. So that's just an obvious sign that we're winning. My answer is no. Anybody like commuting from San Antonio to Austin is likely doing it like temporarily, while they find someplace that's further up. It's just, it's, if I'm driving up to Austin, if I'm getting up there early, I don't know. Like if I catch traffic, it's a 2-hour commute,
I think it depends on where you live, where you're working in either one. But I know a lot of people live like in San Marcos. They live in Kyle, Buda, and they commute. I do know people that live close to downtown that commute down to San Antonio. Why? I would just for the price buy a little house in San Marcos or New Braunfels for $275, and you're much closer.
We have a bunch of nice little, we'll call them launch pad towns in between San Antonio and Austin, where like if somebody gets a job in Austin, somebody gets a job in San Antonio. Like there's some great little spots in between both places that you can check out and then kind of, go between.
Yeah, that whole corridor. I think that's something that we have in common, right? So we have a lot of crossover business because I think you come up to New Braunfels, I'll work all the way down really to North San Antonio, I'm so lost when I get to North San Antonio. It becomes like I feel like there's like a zoo once you hit there. Oh wait, there is a zoo. Never mind. So Austin, all right, that's things to do. Austin does have a small community zoo. It's not anything big. San Antonio does have. It's a decent sized zoo. What's going on?
I love our zoo, man. We members. My daughter went to zoo school. I'm a pretty big fan of our zoo.
Oh, there is more questions. I haven't seen.
Here we go.
Oh, here.
Rent to value ratio. I like that question.
Rebecca says maybe New Braunfels would be better commute. She's right. Chofo. So man, I love that name. All right. Where in Austin is the best rent to value ratio and are decent neighborhoods? Rent to value ratio. South Austin. I think. I think that the rents are a little bit cheaper in North Austin, believe it or not, closer to where the tech companies are. So if you're looking up off of the 45 and like Mopac or where I-35 connects, there's some really great neighborhoods in there like Chimney Hills, Preston Village, up near the Domain. There's some older like neighborhoods and the rents are not that bad. You can find a decent home to rent under $2,100 a month. You do South Austin, it's like $23. So it is more expensive in South Austin. I think you just get like
he's asking, I think, from an investment standpoint.
Yeah,
South like Austin. Where's the best South place Austin. To buy a rental property?
South Austin, hands down, because the rents are higher, the prices are similar.
Like Kyle?
No, I'd say in South Austin.
In South Austin, okay.
In South Austin. So really, south of the Slaughter, if you're looking at, a map Slaughter, south of there, you can get a really nice property under $350 and have really good positive rental rates on it, or cash flow, however you want to say that. If you go to North Austin, it's a little bit harder to cash flow just because for whatever reason, the rents are about $200 less in some of those areas.
Yeah.
What about San Antonio?
So San Antonio, I feel like our appreciation has outpaced our rental growth, right? And so we had some great rental deals uh, previously, but I think it's like Austin where the numbers aren't going to look fantastic. But that rent increases are going to happen, right? And so your mortgage payment does not increase as much as rents increase. So a lot of our landlords have done well buying in some areas and watching the rents increase. So when they bought it year one, like cash flow isn't that great, but year four, they're like, oh my God, this is amazing. And so I would say, picking out some areas that have room for rental growth is in the future growth is probably gonna do better for you than focusing on the right now. Because if you look at the right now on a lot of stuff, it doesn't make sense. And I hate to keep pushing everybody to the corridor, right? Because we love selling Austin, we love selling San Antonio, but we've closed a couple
It's the
we've closed a
fastest
couple.
growing metroplex. The I-35 corridor
Yeah.
between San Antonio and Austin is the fastest growing metroplex in the entire nation.
Well, we've closed a couple deals on brand new duplexes in New Braunfels and San Marcos. And
Did
so
you do
those,
one in Buda too?
in Buda, yeah, we did do a duplex in Buda. And so those are some good areas too, because a lot of people I think get wiped out by capital expenses when they're doing rental properties, especially if they're doing it part time. And buying a brand new duplex with a 10-year warranty on it is, again, spreadsheet doesn't make as much sense. Like lifestyle and lack of headache is way better. So a lot of different options here. I just would look for future growth because that's where you're going to make most of your money.
Yeah, I think, in Austin, a lot of investors that we're working with, and I mean, a lot of buyers too, I can't really say investors mainly, are looking towards that 7-8. In fact, Stephen Park just threw up a good point there. So I'm going to get to his answer right here. But in that 78745, 78748, which are South Austin, and they're also moving up to where Tesla's going in.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Buy something out there.
Off of 130.
Yeah.
Had I known that it was coming that quickly, I would have bought something. So my wife and I were like, okay, we're looking at South Austin. We're like, let's buy this rental property versus this one. They had a new, so Colorado Crossing had their new section. And at first they didn't allow investors to buy in there. So we couldn't really buy in there. So as we started getting the process, we bought the one in South Austin. And then they opened up the one in over there. The prices were under $250. It's nuts, under $250. We had clients buying a 1,300 square feet, perfect rental that they were buying for themselves under $250, like $235 or $225 is what they closed. One closed at $225, one closed a month later at $235.
What are they worth now?
300.
Yeah.
And they're not even done building. They're worth 300 because
it's like it goes against what every investor person says, right? Like cash flow is king. You got to cash flow. You got to cash flow. You got to cash flow. In my experience, not to knock that, right? Like you should look at cash flow. But in my experience, all of the big wins my clients have had from their properties has been appreciation, right? Like they've done okay on cash flow. They've cash flowed $100-$200 a month. It's been good. And then they made like 50 grand, right, on appreciation. And, it's going to take a lot of years of cash flow to equal that. So I go against the grain. I've got a little house we're flipping right next to where the Lone Star development could happen in the future, right? Like that's what I like doing. Buy assets that are in a better zone to appreciate, because that's where the big money is, in my opinion.
I agree. So is St. Elmo area worth investing in? I see a lot of development going in that area, but not sure if it will pan out. So I just threw out a zip code. What Steven's talking about is 78745. So it's south of that Zilker Park area where everybody's, I had clients in there looking a week ago for 2.1 million. We're still trying to negotiate that one, but anyway.
Yeah.
But you got to jump in lower to 78745, and there's a ton of development. In fact, Steven, there's a place I did a video on right in that area, right next to there, called Cathedral of Junk. Go check out that place. But yes, I would invest in that St. Elmo area. Hands down, it's a great area. The challenge is finding something that's priced well right now, because they know that there's good stuff there. I've been able
I'm
to hear
back.
you.
Good.
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right.
So St. Elmo, yes, there's a lot of really cool condos going there. In fact, I've had a client eyeing a couple of those. What's the name? Fort. What is they email me like 3 times a week? Fort something. I want to say Fort Bragg is the name of it, but that's not it. Fort. There's a really cool condo complex going in there. I highly recommend. I think the prices are a little high. They have some 2.2 and 2.1, so that's a good spot to look. Stephen then also wrote, if that is buyout, not sure if buying a condo is a good idea. So I would say there's some freestanding condos that I would look at. So they look like homes, but they're condos. I would be careful getting into a high-rise condo because everybody's moving out of downtown, really. So I would be hesitant to buy into a big building. The HOA fees in Austin are really high.
I would say if you can get a good deal.
Well, that's why I have a client right now where we're eyeing out quite a few things. So
yeah, like if you, because look, let's be honest, our country has the shortest memory of anybody, right? So it's like, yeah, people are moving out of condos because Corona pandemic has been crazy for downtown stuff. So if you can steal a deal from somebody moving out, I think people are going to go right back to it in a year or two.
Yeah, I think if you get a condo in that area, that south St. Elmo area that we were talking about, kind of South Austin, I think there's some really cool developments going there that would definitely make some money. All right, Rebecca is really chirping in our ear over here. Hi, Rebecca. The same is true for Dallas. It's tough rental market in Dallas. See, she's trying to get on the live stream. Rebecca's
going to be on though. She's coming up next.
Yeah, she is. She's going to be on. We actually I'm gonna probably have her on my second channel doing some interviews on using YouTube. So she'll be on that. Hi, Rebecca. Let's see. Rebecca also says, but like year 4, Tim was saying, I can't read right now. I can't
saying
see.
The rentals usually pan out in the long term. Like even if the first year or two is not that great, like after rent increases and everything, it really starts to take off.
Yes, Steven said it.
But Martin's got a good question here.
Martin, welcome back.
Yeah.
What is something good Jeremy will say about San Antonio? Same for Tim about Austin. I will say that Tim lives in San Antonio. That's nice.
You've driven through here like 3 times in the last month though, and still haven't stopped in.
Hey, look, man on a mission. Now, I like San Antonio, even though we're giving each other a good ribbon. I do like San Antonio. I do like the drive-through zoo in San Antonio. That's fun. I do have to admit, there's a big, battle between Austin and San Antonio about the taco culture. There is some good spots in Austin, but I think San Antonio does dominate in actually better Mexican food. I do like that you can get better prices on homes in San Antonio. It is a lot tougher in Austin. So I do have to say, and what's that big golf resort north of?
I know what you're talking. I'm gonna lose a bunch of local expert points by not being able to say the name of it. Oh my goodness!
There's a huge golf resort.
Yeah,
that place I've gone there for like a business retreat or something.
I don't golf, man. So I can't think of it.
All right, your turn.
Yeah. So I really don't like downtown Austin, and I think it's just not my thing, right? Like, what is it, 7th Street or something?
6th Street.
6th Street.
It's not my thing either. And
I've done 6th Street. I've done some of this stuff, and it's really not my thing. But I will say, I really like your guys' suburbs, like Georgetown, and you do have, like the stuff right around Austin, like Buda. Buda's a cool little area. Like I think you guys have some really good suburbs where we have like downtown and suburban sprawl. Right, like we've got downtown, suburban sprawl, and that's where I love Bernie. Right, like Bernie's one of my favorite spots. It's a great little San Antonio suburb. But I love Austin suburbs. That's what I like about Austin. And look, Austin's a great city. I just told Jeremy we'd come on here and give each other a hard time. Either way, I mean, there's some really great places in both areas. We just don't have as many tight jeans down here.
So that's I always like when I have clients come in, and I have clients from everywhere that come in. I always tell them, hey, by the way, just so you know, when we go to show properties, I wear shorts and flip flops.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Like, I, I I'm not a suits guy. I left San Diego, so I don't have to wear suits. So that's why it's Austin. So shorts and flip flops. That's it. Steven said Little Ford. That was a community I was thinking of. Thank you. I really like that one. And the Bend, he wrote. I was looking at the Bend. Both of those are great. I kind of like Little Ford a little more. I can send you a message on why I like it a little bit more, but I don't want to take up much more time on that. On this, so Tim. Final question to you. Your final question to you.
Right.
Why do you think Austin's better than San Antonio?
That's the final question?
Yeah. Why do you think it is better?
You and your Democrat moves, like what's going on? Where's your Biden 2020 sign?
Not in the beach house. Definitely not here. All right.
I'm just giving you a hard time. I don't want to make people think there's any political affiliations between the two of us. I'm just But what do you want to end on?
I wanted to see if somebody was going to throw in a really good zinger of a good question for the last question. Rebecca. All right. That's
San Antonio for medical jobs.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, because we have a lot of great medical jobs, and then with that medical salary, your buying power is like way awesome here. So like, being a nurse or a whatever in San Antonio, you can have a very nice life with that type of income where, I don't think you make much more being in Austin and having a medical job, and you're going to pay a lot more.
Yeah, Austin we have a huge medical scene here. Seton is huge. I personally have clients that work in Kyle. There's a huge medical center there. I have a lot of clients that work downtown off 38th Street. So we have a lot of medical jobs, but I think, if you're living in the suburbs from some of those areas, you'll get some good value of being in Austin. Plus, like Tim mentioned, our rates increase a lot faster, so you'll have a lot more equity built up than San Antonio.
I like it. Good play.
Yeah, even Rebecca said that was a great question. See, Rebecca, answer in the chat. Is there a lot of good medical jobs in Dallas? We know there's plastic surgery, but what else do they have there?
This is another good question.
Yeah. So California here, where property taxes only reassess when property is sold. I heard Texas is reassessed every 3 years. Wrong. If Austin continues to grow fast, will I have to worry about getting priced out due to taxes? This is something we missed, and I was going to bring it up earlier. You were talking about taxes in town. The answer to your question is they reassess every single year. The reason why they didn't reassess this last year is the Austin Board of Realtors caught the Travis County buying our proprietary data from the people that supplied our MLS. So we sued the city, and so part of this lawsuit was they could not raise property taxes in Austin. So property taxes in Austin, throughout Austin, are generally about oh my gosh, people texting me. Sorry. So in Austin, typically it's about 2.14%, is generally around the Austin to 2.24%. If you're going to be in an outlying area, in a new build community, it can be a lot higher, 2.96%, 3%, and they do reassess every year. So it's good that if you're going to buy a property that you file a homestead. You can't file a homestead in the same year you purchase. So if you bought in December of this year, you could file a homestead in January when they start allowing homesteading. But if you buy in this January, you can't do it until the following January. So make sure you homestead. Tim, property taxes.
Yeah.
So
we're higher.
The answer is question, yes, you can get taxed out. I have had clients
that
have warned them, hey, this neighborhood has a huge tax rate, 3.1%. They didn't listen. 2 years later, we had to sell our house because their taxes went from not even knowing what their taxes would be because it's a new build community. They give you the percentage, but not the actual value of the house. And then it was up 13 grand and they only had like a $350,000 house. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. So property tax in San Antonio.
Yeah, San Antonio, like my personal residence, I'm at 2.57%. And I'm inside city limits. So yeah, property taxes are high here, and you definitely want to price that in. So like if we're looking at a house that's, we're gonna buy for 400,000. What's up, Christina? If we're looking at a house that we're gonna buy for 400,000, and I'm looking at the property taxes, it's assessed at like 300,000 or 250,000, we have to bring that up and say, hey guys, look, like you can expect your property taxes to go up a lot. And so it's like anything else. Like you want to make sure you have all the information so you got a budget for those property taxes going up. The positive to that is, like my property taxes are 2.57%, which is very high. But if for some reason that prices me out of my house, that means my home value has gone up far more significantly than my property taxes have, which means I should have a ton of equity, which means I should be able to sell it for more money and then go buy something else, higher down payment, lower my payment, and everybody's happy.
Yeah, I have. So I've had, because we have so much new build going on, we have clients that buy like in a phase one that are, let me pull this question out so you can see my face. We'll have clients that will buy in a phase one, right? And they have 5-6 phases to the neighborhood. They're paying 3.01% or 3.1%. And so after like 3 years, they're paying like I said, $300,000 home. I had a client who didn't use a realtor, didn't know this, and came to me after the very first year and had to sell their house. And they're already at 12 grand for a $300,000 home. Obviously, what was
Christina said that property tax in Louisiana are cheaper. And it's funny, my buddy just bought a rental property in Louisiana for that reason, because the property taxes are lower. So thanks, Christina, for coming on and poaching our Texas people. We appreciate it.
She's going to say something about LSU is better than UT too.
Yeah, right? Yeah. I love it. Keep it coming. Engagement.
But so really on this question here is that, so the challenge they run into though is they bought in phase one, their taxes are really high. They weren't planning on their taxes being that high. And then now they're fighting to sell that home because they're fighting against the builder. So I'm not going to tell people you have to use a realtor, right? So like there's so many new builds. When a buyer comes in, they go, why would I buy this home? I'll just build my own. And I don't have to deal with, the scuff marks from a 3-year-old on your wall, right? A lot of these homes, I mean, I have an 8-year-old and my house cannot stay pristine either. So, so that is a challenge that you see, especially with taxes.
Christina now is just talking nonsense. We can't have that. Yeah, she's saying the food's better in Louisiana. That's crazy.
Yeah, we got to get to some of these. Rebecca.
One thing though, I want to hit on, because you're talking about it, is look, don't be humble about it. Look, we see people go directly to builders and buy houses unrepresented, and it doesn't go well. And then we come in after they've already bought the home and talk through a lot of the problems that they ran into. It's like there's a huge benefit into having an expert be able to look at a neighborhood for you and tell you whether or not you should buy in that with that builder and whether you should buy in that neighborhood. The builder rep works for the builder. They don't work for you. And that's why it's important to get somebody that works for you, because I've had to go, and me as a veteran, like it kills me, because you get a lot of people come into San Antonio, they walk into a builder thing, they just buy a brand new home. They plan on, they're going to get stationed somewhere else in 2 years, and nobody tells them about sales costs and the fact that they shouldn't buy a home brand new if they plan on leaving in 2 years, because the rest of the neighborhood's still getting built out and you're trying to sell your house compared to brand new homes, and you're actually decreasing in value probably in that first year or two. So have somebody on your team, please. Sorry.
Christina. I love you, Christina.
They are. No, she gets that, but just not the food thing. Look, Louisiana has better Louisiana food, like great shrimp and grits, like great Cajun stuff. I love it. It's amazing. But you're not going to win on overall food.
Yeah, barbecue. I mean, Christina,
no, they probably give us a run on barbecue too, but just like
well,
diversity of food,
yeah, I mean, they got some boudin down there or something like that. I
you
don't
know.
know if I said that right. All right, I'm gonna answer
She's
this.
coming on next. She's ready to go.
Yeah, Christina is coming on the channel.
Yeah.
We're gonna argue UT versus LSU.
Right.
So it's filing your homestead. This is a great question. I'm glad you asked it. Homestead is your primary residence. You can't do it if you are buying an investment property, but if you buy in it and live in it for a year, I mean, there's some gray area. I would definitely keep an eye on low tax rates. There are, like I was saying earlier, if you're going to buy as an investment in South Austin, 1.8% tax rates. That's where you want to look. You can buy something around 325. I can definitely say that for sure. All right.
But hold on. I want to go back to that because he sounds like an investment minded guy, and we help a lot of people with investments. I know you do too.
Yep.
One is like, if you're not in the game, you think maybe you can game the system, right? Like I've got buddies that want to use their VA loan to buy an investment property, right? Like you want to, use your homestead on your investment property, and investing in real estate is great. I love it. We do it. I believe in investing in real estate, but I will tell you that in my experience, investing myself and working with a lot of investors, don't try to game the system, because if it ever comes back, nobody cares about investors. You don't get to go and say, "Oh, I didn't realize," or no, you're an investor. They don't care about you. They think you're the bad guy. So
that's true.
Play it straight.
Yep.
And because like mortgage fraud on a VA loan is a real thing. Like using an FHA loan and doing 3.5% down on a house you plan to never live in. Like they do occupancy checks, and you can get yourself in big trouble. So invest, be smart, but don't try to game the system too much, because it ain't worth it.
Yeah, no, that's I had a client trying to do everything they could to put themselves in mortgage fraud, and I literally had to fire them as a client because I value my life.
House hack, buy a duplex, live in one side, rent out the other.
Yeah, Casey came on and said that. Christina did say that the barbecue is better in Texas. See, Christina knows what's up. Louisiana, Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca. All right. Rental properties in Louisiana are better than Texas. Christina, that's actually something maybe we should talk about in the future, because I know Christina. Christina is a great agent in like Whisper Parish outside of Baton Rouge. Something, she'll put it on here in a second. I always forget it is. She's your real estate whisperer in something prevention.
One of my favorite people.
Yes, true. Yeah. But yeah, so she has a few rental properties. So I'd be curious to see what she says about rental properties. I love this guy. He says, and thank you, Tim and Jeremy. Very fun and informative. Ascension Parish, see?
But hold on. I like how he specified that Jeremy is fun and informative. Like he clarified. As always, Jeremy, you're fun and informative. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Tim's here for his good looks, and that's been really tough to keep those up in this.
Yeah. What is going on? I can't win tonight.
All right, we're gonna end it there.
Christina won a Rundy, didn't she?
She probably did, probably for the best YouTuber. If anybody wants, so a huge plug to Christina Smallhorn right here. So if you like my channel, definitely look at Christina's channel. She does a lot of cool stuff with buying small homes and things like that. She got scammed recently on a small home builder out in Spar, Texas. No representation of the rest of Texas. That was a really informative video. So Christina Smallhorn, her channel, she like 800 million subscribers or something like that.
Unbelievable.
So, yeah.
And then I'm hoping I finish this bus and she'll come do a video with me. That'll be fun.
Yeah, check out Tim Macy's channel. He's got a bus that he's building. What he's going to do with that, he'll have to explain to you. I don't
know. I'm just doing it. Who knows?
He bought a bus. He's going to change it into
like an RV, tiny home, tiny home on wheels.
You said it was a rolling Black Rifle coffee shop. Was that what it is?
Tiny home on wheels, so we can go and hang out with the hippies in Austin.
Cool. Yeah, you can come park at my neighbor's house. All right, Tim Macy, thank you so much. Thank you everyone for jumping on and all the questions. If you need a good realtor down in San Antonio, there's Tim Macy.
I appreciate you, man.
Tim Macy. All right, Rebecca's been on here. She's been dropping comments. She's fantastic in the Dallas area. Christina Smallhorn, as always, Baton Rouge. Love you all. Have a wonderful day.